we talked about Magneto. It's time for our villain tier list segment.
The Young Don, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Magneto. We got the Magneto pop right here. If you can't see it. One of my favorite pops too. Got this one from
Did you get it from
I got it from Joker's.
Yeah.
Shout out Joker's.
Joker's child.
So yeah, let's get into Magneto, bro. Magneto, also known as Max Eisenhart, but then he changed his name to Eric after escaping the Holocaust. His first appearance was in X-Men #1 in 1963.
OG, for real.
The real OG. His powers include control of elements, magnetism, energy manipulation, flight, superhuman intelligence, superhuman speed, force field. Magneto's a powerful nigga.
And I think he's the one. Remember I was telling you how I think earthbenders could probably do blood bending too?
Yeah.
Because the iron?
Yeah, I think he was the person I saw that was using people's iron in their blood to move them and shit.
Crazy. Magneto, bro. One of the most iconic villains ever. How we feeling about Magneto? What's your favorite Magneto moments? You were about to say something, John.
I think in the Fox movies when he has that kind of like last stand with Charles Xavier and they're kind of like on the beach. I think I keep referencing.
You said First Class?
Yeah, I think First Class. Yeah, I think that's because that's the only really time that I
when he steals the nigga's helmet and that becomes his helmet.
Yeah,
now,
and that becomes his helmet, bro. Tough, bro.
Yeah,
tough. And you can see like he's a redeemable villain. Like he has logic behind him. He has just the thoughts and because he's been through it. He's been through. He doesn't want to go through it again, or he wants to go through it. He wants to evade it in a manner that makes sense for everybody to coexist. At first, he's very he's very Malcolm X, and I respect him for that. And obviously the parallels are there.
Yeah. I got two main moments. One happened in the cartoon, one happened in the comics. That Beast moment shows you exactly everything you need to know about Magneto. That's the first time you see Magneto, and what did he do? He's actually helping.
Yeah.
But it's misguided help.
Yeah, facts.
So I just think that shows Magneto perfectly that he's not a bad guy to mutants. He's just someone really overprotective. Second, ultimatum, him on the throne, holding Mjolnir. I always mess that up. Just because he's not worthy, but he got enough energy to just pull that shit up and make it up. And all he's doing is really just holding it. Toughest moment.
He's not even like fucking wielding it or anything.
It's just nigga on the throne.
Me personally, I enjoyed the X-Men movies, right? I like the older Magneto and the younger, but neither of them really felt like Magneto. Like my first impression of Magneto is watching reruns of the X-Men show and from video games and just from my pops telling me about comics and telling me about Magneto.
I think that's because I think in a lot of the media, he's not as much as a philosopher. Mm-hmm. I think in this new show, they're getting to points where they're saying really good quotes and shit.
Yeah. Like in those movies, you're right. In those movies, the older one touched on it a little bit in that one, in The Last Stand. Mm-hmm. But there's so much depth that goes into his character, bro. Like
he has to be smart enough to be friends with Charles Xavier.
Like it really is an MLK Malcolm X thing where it's, him and Charles both are friends and they want the same goal, but they just want it in different ways. They want peace. Well, I wouldn't say that. I would say they want
peace for the mutant race.
They want peace for the mutant race, but Charles Xavier wants peace between humans and mutants, whereas Magneto is more like, well, if they won't smoke with us, then I won't smoke with you niggas. Mm-hmm. Fuck the humans. It's the mutants on top. We are the number one race.
Yeah, he was really on some I don't even care about the segregation, but if we're gonna be segregated, I want my schools to be just as educated as the inferior school type shit. Charles was like, nah, I don't want no segregation. I want them to go to the same school, same, you know what I mean?
And we said it a bunch of times, bro. A great villain, some of the greatest villains are right.
Mm-hmm. And
Magneto's right, bro.
that's why I want to like differ, because I know like for the viewers who stay tapped in are gonna be like, well, he becomes a good guy too, blah blah blah. Why is he not gonna be? For me, he's pretty much S tier. Good
as far as villainy goes,
face turns or not, because even as a good guy, his ideology stays the same. Like, he don't bend for no one, you know, like. So it's different from Loki, who like when he turns good, he grew and learned from whatever was keeping him him a villain. Magneto still has that. He still carries the same thoughts.
So, yeah, he does turn good at a point, right? And we see in this X-Men show, he is good at times. But let's take a look at some of the worst things Magneto has done, right? So, he murdered a scientist with a paperclip, right? Similar to in the movie where he murdered, what's his name? I think it was like Shaw, something Shaw, with the coin.
Yeah.
With the coin, yeah. He flicked it at him.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, basically. He formed the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. He
Can I say a random one real quick?
Yeah.
He forced Magneto's goggles to face Wolverine while Iron Man's repulsors faced Wolverine to mega blast Wolverine out of existence.
Jesus.
That's fucking crazy.
Jesus, bro.
What the
And when I mean out of existence, no return. He does not come back.
Ultimate Magneto snaps Charles Xavier's neck.
Bare hands, no powers.
Bare fucking hands. Attacks San Francisco with mutant killing sentinels. Sinks a Soviet submarine. Blackmails the UN to recognize Genosha as a state. And literally rips the adamantium from Wolverine's body.
Yeah, that's a crazy ass.
And that's not even talk about the stuff that we clearly just ignore, like manipulate two children into thinking that they're his kids to do his bidding. Crazy.
Devious.
That's wild.
So yeah, Magneto's definitely done some devious shit and is not afraid to do some devious shit, even if the means justify or don't justify.
Yeah. Like I missed it, but I was saying I think one of the coldest shots is him on the throne holding a millionaire, because like not because he's worthy or anything, but just because he can like move it, so he just had it in his hand.
Man, Magneto different, bro. And I think that Magneto is one of the most iconic villains. X-Men is one of the most iconic. I think X-Men is the most iconic comic book team.
It is.
Next to like, I think they passed G.I. Joe.
So
G.I.
like
Joe, niggas don't care about
in comic history, like for Marvel itself, the two biggest things is literally X-Men.
The Avenger.
No, Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Those
Spider-Man
are the two biggest things.
Yeah, next to the Justice League, the most popular team, and the main villain is Magneto.
Marvel was going out of business until they made X-Men.
Yeah.
And that's like for shoots.
So if we're looking at who's in S tier right now, we have Darkseid is the only one there, right? And it's kind of hard to compare. But
I think he's S tier, man.
See, the only thing that goes against me put him in S tier is the fact that he, has hero-like qualities and was a hero before. But at the same time, he's done devious shit. He's done evil shit. He's extremely powerful. He has the dialogue. He has the look. He is a true and true villain. He's an iconic villain.
Okay, would you take away credit because a couple of those things that you said were technically different universe Magnetos?
Yeah, see, it's tough, man. It is really tough. I don't know. I honestly, I also think he's an S. I think he's too iconic. I would put him over Darkseid.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's even worse than Darkseid that someone that knows right and wrong, knows when to be a good guy, can still do the shit that he does.
Yeah, I think I do see your point where it's like, oh, he was a hero at some points, but I think he makes up for being such a complex character with layers to him, whereas Darkseid doesn't have that.
He's very static.
Yeah,
he's a very static.
He's a great villain. He's pure evil, but there's really no layers to his character.
Also, reason I'm putting him in an S is because Magneto literally went through one of the worst recorded genocides in history and still chooses to be a villain.
Or how about this? Yep. He went through it, and he's been such an asshole to the point that they can't find no good traits of him to sympathize for. You know how horrible of a person you gotta be to come out the Holocaust,
qualities,
and they're just like, nah, he is a villain. I don't care what he been through. Nah, he's the bad guy. Like, like
it's him. It's his fault.
Yeah, like it's look. Something bad might been happening to you when you was young, but you don't carry this shit out for the rest of your life.
That's crazy,
like,
bro. Insane.
Yeah, like I think like he done did some devious stuff. Like he done used Mystique, lied and manipulated Mystique. He done told 2 kids that they're his kids, had them fight the Avengers, and then get mad when they die and come back and start clipping niggas. Like,
yeah, I think another pod we're gonna have to have a conversation about how Professor Xavier at times teetered on the line between hero and villain. But that's another day.
Hear me out. This is just morally, I think Xavier is worse than Magneto.
You can argue that, but I think they're two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
And as far as Magneto, gotta put him in S tier, bro.
I think so.
One of my favorite villains of all time. I think he goes over Darkseid. You? I'd put him over Darkseid. If we're ranking them,
man. In terms of pure villainy, I'm putting Darkseid over Magneto because Magneto still has the not redeeming qualities, right? Obviously, once you keep going into the story, he doesn't have any redeeming qualities at the end of the day. But in the beginning of just his inception as a character, and when you see the Fox kind of like X-Men portrayal, he does kind of have those hero-like qualities, and he can still turn if you really wanted to, or if somebody controlled him.
I think you're kind of, I think you're wrong, and then I think you're right at the same time. I think the redeeming qualities always stay there, and I think that's what makes him even worse than Darkseid, because he is someone that is human and has to sit and deal with the decisions he makes and suffers from the decision he makes, but he lives with it because he thinks his cause is greater than his own feelings.
Interesting.
So I think that's even worse than someone who has no sympathy. So someone who has empathy and sympathy, but still does these,
makes the decision,
makes the hard decisions to make quote unquote bad decisions,
right?
But that in your eyes is good for your race might be more villainy because he has, at the end of the day, he sits with this, he deals with this, he might not like it, but it's not going to change what he has to do for his cause.
Right. Yeah. Whereas Darkseid is just pure unadulterated.
Just because he wants to, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't really have a reasoning or like.
Right. There's no
gain from it. Yeah.
For him doing the evil shit that he does.
For Magneto, it's almost like a burden
that he carries.
He carries with him.
Yeah. I think Darkseid may be even like more pure evil in a sense, but yeah, I think because of the layers of his character.
Yeah, almost like I wouldn't consider a robot, a evil robot, worse than someone like the person that the reason why it was in a concentration camp, because that's someone that has a conscience, has the mind to know right and wrong,
right?
But chose to go the extreme.
Yeah,
which really different from Darkseid, who just doesn't have almost a heart.
Yeah,
yeah, he doesn't have any empathy or sympathy. He's not human.
Yeah, right? So I think like for a villain wise, I think that makes him like surpass Darkseid.
We're putting Magneto.
He's making those horrible tough decisions.
Magneto goes to the top of S tier, and Magneto's gonna be a tough one to beat. Cause like I'm looking here, I don't think any of these niggas beat Darkseid. I mean beat Magneto.
I think it's only one nigga, and we don't have him.
I can think of two who possibly.
There is two.
I think of one Marvel, one DC that might be there.
I'm thinking of two Marvel, and one Marvel I hope we never have to talk about. And that's Red Skull. I don't ever want to have to talk about Red Skull.
Red Skull's a fucking menace.
You forget Joker. Joker might be.
Well, Joker.
We'll see. We'll get there when we get there.